Welcome. My name is Claire Key, and I will be presenting the CDHF session on family nutrition across the lifespan. I have no disclosures to share. At the end of this presentation, you'll be able to identify nutrition concerns for the key life stages to be discussed and know strategies to address those concerns. You will understand the establishment of the gut microbiota throughout life and learn the potential of using probiotics, which all link together. Let's start with the first objective. Good nutrition is important no matter what age. The required amounts of nutrients can differ at certain ages, and some nutrients are more important than others because there may be a bigger impact if there happens to be a deficiency. The key life stages that will be discussed are infancy, adolescence, and older adulthood. The age ranges here correspond with dietary reference intake table. We will start with infancy and also a question. True or false? Breast milk is a complete nutrition source for a newborn. This is false. There are many benefits of breastfeeding. Reduces the baby's risk of infections, protects babies from eczema, asthma. Nursing also benefits mothers, and while breast milk has many benefits, there are some nutrients it is missing. It is never too early to consider nutrient effects on brain development, which peaks at around 12 months of age. One reason has to do with what we call critical periods. There are times where there is very rapid activity and lots of changes going on. If we miss these critical periods, clinical studies tell us we cannot fully repair what has occurred. For the first 4 to 6 months of life, human milk, infant formula, or a combination of the two should be the sole source of nutrition for infants. However, there are some nutrients that are low in human milk. Vitamin D, vitamin K, and iron. Vitamin K is mainly made from our gut, and babies are born with small amounts of vitamin K, which is needed for blood to clot normally when there is bleeding. The brain needs a lot of energy to grow, and iron is involved in many important processes for organ development, immune function, and growth. In terms of strategies, a daily vitamin D supplement of 400 international units should be given to infants. Depending on what the infant is feeding on and their medical history, dosage may change. A vitamin K shot is given at birth to protect babies from serious bleeding problems. Babies born at term have enough iron stores until about 4 to 6 months, to which then we need to get iron from our diet. Babies given iron fortified formula get added iron from feeds, but babies who are exclusively breastfed or who are born premature may need supplemental iron. As children grow, they will explore many foods, and we will want to fuel their bodies with nutrients that allow them to go, grow, and glow. Now we're going to move into adolescence. True or false? The calcium requirements are highest during adolescence. This is true. Calcium is stored in our bones, and our bones reach the maximum bone density by young adulthood. So we want to pack as much calcium as possible when we can during adolescence, because as we get older, we lose the ability to store calcium. Adolescence is a time when habits are formed and continue into adult life. New science suggests adolescence is a second critical period of growth, brain development, and also social interactions. A number of changes happen at this life stage, and these are some of the important nutrients for adolescents that have high prevalence of inadequate intake. Calcium requirements are the highest, as we saw from our true or false question, and this is to support bone growth and prevent bone diseases later in life. Vitamin D intake is low for most Canadians. Vitamin D helps absorb calcium in our bodies to maintain a proper bone structure, so it goes hand in hand with calcium. Vitamin A is critical to support the rapid development and growth during this life stage. Eyesight, healthy skin, good immune function also stems from vitamin A. More iron is needed for many reasons at this life stage. Increased blood volume and muscle mass are main reasons. And fun fact, iron is the most common nutrient deficiency in the world. Adolescents can meet the requirements for calcium by drinking 4 1/3 cup of milk or 4 or 5 plant-based milk daily. Most adolescents drink about 1 cup of milk each day, and if they cannot tolerate dairy, this can be another barrier. While dairy products are rich and absorbable forms of calcium, there are certain vegetables and grains which provide calcium, but they're not absorbed as well as dairy. Green leafy vegetables contain oxalates that can bind to calcium and decrease absorption. Beans, fish with bones, or other natural food sources. Many soy products are also fortified with calcium. Here are some ways to work calcium into your diet. Replacing sweetened beverages with milk, including other calcium-rich sources and leafy greens regularly to your meal, can certainly boost your calcium intake. You might ask if a supplement is needed. We recommend trying to get enough from food first. Multivitamins do not have enough calcium and at most about 200 milligrams, so we would benefit from including other calcium-rich sources in our diet. Along with calcium, vitamin D is needed to maintain good bone health. It is also known as the sunshine vitamin because our body can make vitamin D when our skin is exposed to the sun. Since that doesn't happen for much of the year at northern latitudes, ensuring an adequate intake of vitamin D from food is important. In the past, cod liver oil was given as a supplement, but this faded away as canned fortified cow's milk with vitamin D. Fatty fish and egg yolks are the natural sources of the vitamin. To meet the requirement, drinking 2 cups of milk and including fatty fish in your diet would help. The recommendation is to take a supplement 400 to 1,000 international units each day. The recommendation dosage may seem high, but the upper limit is much higher, so do not worry even if you take 1,000 international units. Vitamin A is another nutrient with vitamin D that is added to milk in Canada. Natural sources include the liver, red, orange, yellow produce, and leafy green vegetables. To ensure we get enough from our diet, we can eat 1 dark green and 1 orange food each day. Vitamin A can be stored in our liver for a long time, so we want to be careful because too much can be dangerous. The type of iron in animal foods is used more efficiently by the body than iron from plant foods. Plant sources naturally contain compounds that limit iron absorption. If you do not eat any meat or fish, you need almost twice as much iron to absorb the same amount as others who do eat meat. To maximize iron absorption, we can pair foods with vitamin C, such as oranges, berries, bell peppers, and cruciferous vegetables such as broccoli and cauliflower. Polyphenols in hot drinks can also reduce iron absorption. Drinking coffee and tea an hour after a meal would prevent interactions with iron and maximize iron absorption. We should not supplement with iron unless it is truly needed, as too much can cause an upset stomach. So make sure to take the advice of your healthcare provider before starting a supplement. We want to establish a healthy relationship with food throughout adulthood and beyond. Know that every time you eat, it is an opportunity to nourish your body. Now we are going to move into older adulthood. Due to less lean body mass and a lower metabolic rate, older adults have lower energy needs than younger adults. As we age, our bones and muscles start to change and we begin to lose bone mass. Therefore, calcium and vitamin D requirements are higher than adulthood. A component to vitamin B12 absorption is adequate stomach acid, and due to changes in digestion as we age, our stomach acid production is reduced, thereby decreasing the capacity to absorb vitamin B12. And Fiber is important for all ages to maintain a healthy digestive system. We know that good bones provide the foundation for good health. The calcium requirements are not as high as adolescents, but it is higher than adulthood. We already reviewed food sources earlier in the adolescent section, and the strategies to meet the calcium requirements are similar. The recommendation for vitamin D is to take a supplement of at least 400 international units daily. If at high risk of fractures and deficiency, the recommendation is increased to 800 to 2,000 international units daily. Vitamin B12 is an important nutrient for older adults, and additionally, older adults who consume little to no animal products are at an increased risk for deficiency, as major food sources are meats, seafood, dairy, and eggs, all these animal products. To meet the increased requirement, choose grains that are fortified with vitamin B12 and include dairy and a variety of protein foods in the diet. Older adults may need a supplement if they do not have animal products in their diet to meet this increased need. Fiber is important for all life stages. Most Canadians are only getting half the requirement. Fiber is found in fruits, vegetables, legumes, and whole grains. To get a fiber boost in the diet, try using higher fiber flours, leaving skins on the produce, garnishing with fibrous nuts, seeds, and choose foods with 2 grams of fiber. This means that the item is a source of fiber, and the greater the number per serving, the better. Now, with fiber intake, we need to drink adequate fluid. Think of a water slide. We need to have enough water to keep things moving, and similar to our gut, we also need enough fiber and fluids to get things moving. There were a lot of numbers shown so far, and to make it easier, following the Canada's Food Guide will provide the right nutrients for our needs. Now we are going to move on to the second objective. But let's review some definitions first. The gut microbiota refers to the collection of microorganisms, mainly the good bacteria that lives in our gut. The gut microbiome refers to the collection of genes that are encoded by the gut microbiota. Prebiotics refers to a substrate that is selectively utilized by host microorganisms, conferring a health benefit. In simpler terms, this means food for healthy bacteria. And lastly, probiotics are live microorganisms that, when administered in adequate amounts, confer a health benefit on the host. In other words, they are good bacteria that help us stay healthy. It is fascinating to think even our youngest humans get natural food compounds for their gut bacteria. The gut microbiome develops even before birth during pregnancy. We get some bacteria from amniotic fluid in utero, which is dependent on maternal factors including diet and also based on delivery mode. Either vaginal or cesarean section, we also see different gut composition. What the infant feeds on also is important to consider. Breast milk contains prebiotics called human milk oligosaccharides, and infant formula does not contain most of the bioactive molecules found in breast milk, although formula companies are beginning to add versions of some of these molecules. For example, many formulas now include some type of indigestible sugar molecule intended to act as a prebiotic to feed healthy gut bacteria. The environment where an infant is living in or surrounded by, siblings, pets, geographical location, all is important to consider. And if the infant or the mother had an infection and used antibiotics, this also changes the microbiome. So multiple factors affect the development of the infant gut microbiota, and this slide is not comprehensive. The establishment of the microbiota starts in utero during pregnancy and continues throughout the delivery, infancy, and toddlerhood stages. Early establishment is critical because by 3 years of age, it has been shown that the child's microbiome will be part of the adult microbiome. The more diverse microbiota you have, the better it is for you. We ingest around 1 million microbes in every gram of food, and our diet has a direct impact on which species thrive in our gut microbiome. For example, if we change diets from meat eater to vegetarian, the gut bacteria changes accordingly. Moving from one environment to another, we're exposed to microbes from different people and places. The food we eat, the environment we live in are major factors. And here is an example. This study involved preschool children being in physical contact with sand. They found the children's skin microbiota became more like to the sand microbiota with just 20 minutes of interaction over a 2-week span. Similarly, if our gut microbiota is exposed to different environments, it will adapt to it. And now to our last objective. Probiotics support health in many ways, such as health maintenance, disease prevention, and most probiotics support microbiota balance, digestive health, and immune health. Our immune system relies heavily on the microbes in our gut. In fact, probiotics are responsible for 70% of our immune response. Remember, probiotics are good bacteria that help us stay healthy. We do not need to have gut issues to be using probiotics. So how does probiotics influence our gut microbiota? Well, it can suppress pathogens by producing antimicrobial agents and stop the production of pro-inflammatory mechanisms, which decreases the movement of harmful bacteria and gastrointestinal infections across the intestinal mucosa. Probiotics can also strengthen the gut barrier by maintaining tight junctions to inhibit pathogens from adhering to the intestinal surface. Probiotics can also induce mucin production, which can act as a physical barrier. It is proven that probiotics can modulate immunity by using the gut-brain axis, which refers to the communication between the gut and the central nervous system. Certain probiotic strains can also affect the gut motility. This also is through signaling with the gut-brain axis. In several ways, probiotics regulate the gut microbiota and enhance immunity. As Hippocrates once said, all disease begins in the gut. Our gut helps us fight diseases, so do take care of your gut health. These are resources that provide credible information for questions you may have. The human body goes through change constantly throughout life, and food is fuel for these changes. We saw that a vitamin D supplement was recommended at the life stages we discussed. Early establishment of a healthy gut microbiota is critical and continues to change throughout life with changes in our environment and diet. In many ways, probiotics play an important role in supporting a healthy gut microbiota and immunity. Thank you.